everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to Rally with Champions, our 7th live virtual workshop. My name is Shannon Barkey, and I'm going to be your host again today. I'm a 3-time Olympian and 2-time Olympic medalist in the sport of mogul skiing, a winter athlete. I know I'm so excited about summer, but missing winter a little bit. We have some incredible athletes that I cannot wait to chat with today. Kyra Condie, who is a sport climber, and Nina Buitrago, who is a BMX athlete. So awesome. Today, our topic is not really a topic, but more of an introduction to 2 sports that are going to be making their debut in 2020. So what we need to look for, how they're going to be judged, and all the other details that you will need to sit on the edge of your seat, cheering as loudly as you possibly can. So I just want to tell you guys again about our initiative here at Rally with Champions. And we're just really trying to raise money for these athletes where the Olympics has been postponed another year, and to also give all of you at home inspiration as we, kind of tackle this pandemic together and how we move on to the other side. So this is our 7th of 10 workshops that we're going to have. So all about different topics and meeting different athletes and just being inspired in all the different ways. So it's been really fun. I want to have a huge shout out to Convoy Events and Team Empower Hour, who have made all of this possible and doing all the work to kind of bring all these stories together. So thanks, you guys. And now I want to introduce the athletes, because that's why you're all here. So, and I love when they introduce themselves because they do such a better job than I do. So Kyra, hi, welcome. And will you introduce yourself to the world?
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm Kyra Condie. I'm 23 years old. I recently moved to Salt Lake City, Utah to train for my sport, which is sport climbing. But I'm originally from Minnesota, kind of the Twin Cities area. I started climbing when I was 11 years old, so I've been doing it for like over half my life. And it didn't actually become an Olympic sport until this year. So this will be my first Olympics.
Yay! I'm so excited. I just love it. I am not a climber, but I am always fascinated by what you guys do. And free solo, I swear I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. Like, why would anybody want to do that? I don't know, but it inspired me. So I just love what you guys are doing. It's so amazing. And Nina, biker, I love it. I am a biker. I'm a mountain biker, but BMX is so awesome. And what you guys do is so cool. So introduce yourself to the world and tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Hey everyone, my name's Nina Buitrago. My last name's a little tricky, so my friends call me Nina Burrito, or just Nina B. I ride BMX freestyle. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. I live in Austin, Texas. BMX has brought me to many cities where I can do this year round, but Austin has been my home the longest. And it's kind of just my home base. I'm always traveling to ride more places and constantly bouncing around to train. And yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and we're rounding out our first ever Olympic cycle to have freestyle in the Olympics. So this is really exciting.
Yes, I just love it. So in my sport as a mogul skier, we had single moguls and dual moguls. So the first one where just one person goes down and it's judged, and that was an Olympic sport. And dual moguls never got into the Olympics when I was competing, and it still is an Olympic sport. So I'm getting hope from you guys that BMX got another sport, and that maybe, future skiers can have mogul skiing in there as well. So it's exciting. We're all waiting to watch you guys compete. One of the things that we've been doing that's been really, really fun is sharing some equipment that you guys have at home. I know that training has been kind of put on hold, or you may not be able to access it the way that you normally do. So maybe you have some equipment at home in your sport that you want to share with us. So Nina, do you have any good bike stuff around that you can share with us?
Yeah, I just have some of my gear with me. I'm actually on the road right now, but some of my essentials that I always travel with, I got my helmet and some elbow pads. In BMX for freestyle, definitely a helmet's the minimum, but extra padding for elbows and things like that. As you can see, I've slid it out a couple times. These have hard caps, and they're really good for sliding out if you need to. Just getting across the finish line. We don't have a finish line in freestyle. The sport itself is judged. It's objective. It's like, oh, okay, you're being judged on creativity, style, amplitude, and yeah, those are my essentials that I need for making sure that I'm staying in the zone and confident that if I go down, I'm just gonna be able to get right back up. So yeah,
That's awesome.
that's always what
If you're not falling, you're not trying. You know, that
yeah.
was always my thing. So wear pads, fall, get up, try again. I love it.
And
And
so I've been riding a little longer than most of the girls. So when I first started, I was 19, and now I'm 38. So I'm one of the oldest female competitors, but I was also one of the first. And I competed with a lot of the men forever until I started to meet more women, and we created our own events. And it's been a really cool journey over my time of riding to now we're finally in the Olympics. So this is like really cool, not just for BMX freestyle, but for the women, because it's really brought, well, and BMX in general, because BMX freestyle, kind of like skateboarding, has just been looked at kind of as a hobby. So now our sport is super legitimized, and we're hoping that it'll just showcase like how awesome it really is. And to see the women
yeah.
platform is going to be so cool. And for me
I
to
love it, girl. You're a true pioneer. This is so awesome. Oh, okay. You're fading out for just a second. So we're gonna bring in Kyra. Kyra, what did you bring for us for your stuff, your equipment?
Yeah, so what I was going to show a climbing shoe because it's definitely the most like specialized piece of equipment that I think we use. I mean, we also have harnesses and chalk and things like that, but these I actually got to see how they're made recently. So this is one of my sponsors, but I went to
And who's your sponsor?
They're Asun, actually. And they're a Czech brand. And I went to their factory there, and the way they make it, it's completely handmade. It's really cool. And the way like they're made basically is to keep your foot in this position so that you can really like get a lot of force on tiny little footholds and stuff. And so you even sometimes change shoes in between climbs in a competition because you want something that's stiffer or softer based on what you see the climb's going to be. And so this one is like really soft. You can see it bends a lot. But like climbers are totally like ballerinas. Like we go through shoes like that, and they're like definitely.
And are your feet as ugly as ballerinas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know my feet, after being in ski boots for a long time, I don't like to wear flip flops that much. People are like, "Oh, Shannon, put those away." I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry."
Yeah, definitely a downside, but it's worth it. And yeah, these are really soft ones, so these are really good for like overhanging climbs. And the rubber is really sticky, so the goal is like to make sure that your feet don't slip. Like I tried climbing in Nikes every once in a while, and it's just like impossible, you know. So like.
That is awesome. Well, I'm so excited. I want to dive right into this topic because, you know, I think so many people are familiar with all of, you know, the gymnastics and the swimming and, you know, all those events, track and field that people are going to see. But you guys have two new sports. And first of all, I just want to ask both of you, I know that, you know, everybody has different qualifying processes. And like for my sport, we literally made it 2 weeks before the Olympics. And so, Kyra, I believe that you are already qualified, and Nina, you guys were like at the very end. So, Nina, can you tell me a little bit about what you've been going through, and if you know kind of how it's going to go from here into the future? Do your points carry over? Are you guys, you know, how does that work for you?
You know, we're still waiting on a bunch of announcements. So the UCI is our governing body for freestyle and cycling as a whole. And so I know they were about to drop some announcements, and then this pandemic hit. So we're still kind of all drum rolling on standby because our World Cup, we had one more World Cup and then a couple of other C1 events to chase some more points. And that kind of all just like everyone just in a holding pattern, drum rolling hard. So as the point standings are, there are a couple people qualified already. But what's really exciting.
Oh no, hold on. You just said what was really, really exciting and then went out. That is adding to the drama, right? That just kind of seems like how it is right now. This is really exciting and then holding. Okay, well, we get Nina back. Kyra, you have already qualified. So just tell me, does that feel so much better? And are you now training like just eye on the prize?
Yeah, I mean, my heart really goes out to all the people who like were on the edge of qualifying or were preparing for qualification events, because I know that if this had happened right before the event where I qualified, I would have been totally heartbroken, you know, to get that chance taken away, or at least postponed. And so, yeah, I qualified luckily in November, just before all of this happened. And so it's been, yeah, a really crazy journey actually from there, like, you know, preparing for the games and then having them be postponed. And but I feel really good, you know, having extra time to prepare basically is how I'm looking at it.
That's awesome. Okay, now Nina, you said, and the most exciting thing is what? And then it went away. So what is the most exciting thing that you said that we missed?
Oh, I guess well, it's super exciting because it's so close between the women, and USA is so far leading the points race. So I think it's going to be our nation that gets to bring 2 athletes for the women for this year. So plus an alternate. So it's really exciting. The other part is that we've got such a high participation, and we have some of the top riders in the world that it's like really competitive. But we have a great sisterhood together, and everyone's training really hard together. So I think that's been really good for our side of the sport and just for BMX freestyle. So
Oh, that's so good. I can't even, just going in with that camaraderie and, you know, knowing that the best and the best are coming from your country and are going to represent your country is just, that's really, really cool. So I'm excited for your sport. So I want to know, Kyra, there's so many different types of climbing, right? I mentioned one with free solo without the ropes, and I think that's kind of what's been making headlines recently, right? But I want to know what is in the Olympics. Is it a couple different disciplines? Is it, you know, how exactly is your sport? Is it judged? Is it timed? What are those things? So tell us a little bit about your sport and what it's going to be like.
Yeah, so the format for the actual Olympics is different than most competition formats that we've had in the past because there are 3 main disciplines of competition climbing. There's bouldering or climbing or lead climbing. We have weird terminology in the US. So bouldering, lead climbing, and speed climbing. And in order to, we only were given 1 medal for the Olympics because it's our first one. So in order to basically show off all 3 disciplines, we combined all 3 into this combined event, which is going to be what you see in Tokyo. And that's basically what they do is you take your rank in each discipline and they multiply it together, and then the person with the lowest score is the person who wins. But then there's also, of course, all this how you get scored in each one to get that rank. And so bouldering is basically short climbs that are more powerful, and you do multiple of them, and it's all about getting tops. So, you know, the person with the most tops of those climbs is the person who wins. And then in lead climbing, it's a little bit more straightforward. There's only 1 climb, and it's the person who gets the furthest. And there is a time limit for both of those, but it does not have to do with time. And then there's speed climbing, which is definitely the most obvious when you're just looking at it. That climb is always the same. You could climb on the same climb in Chicago as you can climb in Moscow. And that one is all about time. That's just a race. So.
Okay, and now so we have a question that came in from the audience, and I don't quite know what it means, but I have a feeling that you're going to know what it means. So one, how did you qualify for your event, number 1, and then what grade do you have to be able to climb?
Yeah, so that's kind of a hard question as far as what grade, but I'll get to it. So I qualified in climbing at this event in Toulouse. So basically there were 3 opportunities for Americans to qualify. The first was at our World Championships, where basically that one competition, if you did well enough at it, you qualified. The next chance was at the Toulouse qualification event, which was a more long haul type thing. You had to do well at all the World Cups leading up in order to even get an invite to that event. And then you had to do well at that event. And so that's where I qualified. And then the last event for Americans was the Pan American Championship. And we were actually the only continental championship that was able to be held without getting postponed before like the COVID crisis. So
good, you guys got it in there.
Yeah, and so that actually happened in LA and at the very beginning of March or end of February. And so yeah, I luckily qualified before that and then got to just watch and cheer on my teammates. But yeah.
Okay, so it's what grade do you have to be able to climb?
That one's hard. Competition climbs are always a little easier than you think they're going to be because the pressure of the competition is just so high. But, you know, I think, you know, pretty much all the World Cup female athletes are climbing, you know, 10, B11, B12 in bouldering and in sport climbing or lead climbing. I would say 13D, 14A easily, you know, so like it's hard to say if you know climbing.
Cool. Awesome. And I don't. So that means nothing to me, but I hope that answered your question. All right, Nina. So tell us a little bit about BMX freestyle. You know, what does your sport entail and what do we need to look for when watching it?
Yeah. So this is what's so crazy. How do you judge freestyle? You know, it's just like what it sounds. all of us have different bike setups and have different accessories on our bikes. We call them pegs we can use for doing grinds. Some people don't have brakes. There's lots of different factors that make your own individual style contribute to how you're going to ride. And all of us train in different areas on different ramps. And so that also brings another element to the table of like, what is this person going to do? So a lot of us have our own style and flow, but at the contest, since the ramps are pretty consistent, like as far as what they're made up of on the course, you usually have a couple of big jumps and hips, ways for you to get up in the air and do tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, and it's really just being able to put together a run where you're able to use the whole course. And obviously, if everyone's doing the same tricks, what's kind of cool about BMX freestyle is that it's not like gymnastics where certain tricks are worth certain points. It's really just, you can do whatever you want, but if you do it the highest, the fastest, and consistent, and your foot doesn't touch, then you're going to do well. So there's levels of difficulty of the tricks. The judges for our sport are former riders, and so it's really cool to be able to look in the tower and see a bunch of your peers up there, people you've looked up to that know the level of difficulty up there. So that's a bit of relief. But still, judging is always controversial. A lot of people are like, what, how did you come with that to that? And but that's kind of what makes it exciting, because on that day, those are the best riders of that day. So yeah,
I love your background with birds chirping and like it's just awesome.
Cool.
I love it.
And then the birds too. But yeah, in freestyle, it's been really exciting to see, because the women are like, I think every event leading up till now, and then as we move forward, we're seeing world's firsts, more than one. It used to be like we'd all have big events a year where we'd all send it and we'd be like saving it for that contest, for the world.
Okay, wait, hold on. So speaking about sending it, like what is, we just got a question from our audience. What tricks do you do? So when you're sending it, what does that mean? Is that backflips? Is it flat spins? Is it bar spins? Is it, what are you sending? And then do people get injured a lot? Is your sport like have a lot of injuries?
There can be, yeah. And it's like, you don't know when your number's up, and everyone's, I think, getting better at not crashing. So when you do crash, it's usually a pretty bad one, but it's rare, So anyway, I think for me personally, I've been riding a really long time. I didn't have all the resources that a lot of the riders have now, as far as like, healthcare, physical therapy and all the things I wish I knew now that I know now. But for me, yeah, I'm not really doing a bunch of the flips. I've kind of managed to like make finals at every stop by doing what I love to do the most. And I think if you can ride with confidence doing those tricks, like for me, like a lot of people associate me with doing what's called a nothing, where you take all your limbs off in the air. Doing wall rides, I like to go both ways, which is very tough. A lot of people are very directional.
Yeah.
They like to turn. And that's something that I actually pushed. Like I learn a new trick almost every stop, which is really exciting too, because I'm always pushing myself. It's not like I go there with like a recipe in mind of what I'm going to do, because when you show up at these courses, the contests, the ramps are never to scale. So it's really like a mystery until you're there. You get to walk the course, and then it's not till you're riding and you're building speed or seeing if the line that you had in mind is even going to work. So there's just it, and there's a lot of really explosive style, like lots of powerful riders that just go higher and faster than everyone. And there's some that maybe don't go as fast, but they're doing way more trick combinations in like one maneuver on one ramp, So it's interesting. Everyone, even as a fan, I hope everyone will embrace and be surprised by like what they like to see.
That's so cool. I love that there's that element of, just not the cut or dry, it's like what you like and how you flow with it. So that's awesome. Okay. So I know that everybody has had to change their training during this time. And what are you girls doing differently? Are you able to just, go to a climbing gym or rocks, or, what are you able to do right now, Kyra, to kind of keep up your work?
Yeah, so I guess I have built a wall in my house basically to be able to keep training, and I also have a fingerboard, which is actually right here. Kind of show it.
Yeah, I've heard about those things. That just seems like torture. I don't know what you girls are doing to yourself over there with those things hanging by your fingers.
Which is kind of the most, I think, unique thing about climbing is that it depends so much on like such a tiny part of your body. You know, like not many other sports, like if you injure your pinky, you're out, you know, for a season. And in climbing, that's the case. And so training your fingers is super, super important. And so that I have as a setup at home. And then I also have a climbing wall that I built with a friend that basically the roof of my building comes into my apartment, and I just attached wood to that and a bunch of holds that I had saved up basically. So that's how I've been training.
I love it. So if you just go over to your house, you're just going to be hanging right there from your ceiling. You're going to have dinner like that. Everything's going to be right there, right? Just eating over here. Don't mind me, just hanging. What about you, Nina? What have you been able to do?
Oh my, so it's been pretty challenging for me because I was used to going to a gym and working out at a gym. I've been going to this On It Academy here in Austin. They've been so cool letting me train there. And it just kind of came to a halt. But thankfully, they've got a lot of online training, so I'm trying to do all these like at-home workouts. As far as riding, though, you know, life on the bike, we're so lucky here in Austin because many cities have been filling in their skate parks with sand or mulch to keep people social distancing. So, and in Austin, we don't have an indoor park. And in fact, I don't think there's really any in Texas. So that's really tough. So some of the women I've been training with, they moved to North Carolina, and they're lucky to be stuck in quarantine inside this amazing complex that another rider has built. So they're all in North Carolina, and I'm kind of stuck in Austin, but our parks are still open. So I've been trying to be responsible and go early in the morning when there's no kids and very few people. It's just a couple of
girl.
And also I want to beat the heat, and I can get up early to do so. It's, as you can see, it's really not here, but it's been in the 90s already. The oven is on, and yeah, you don't want to be.
Girl, I'm coming where you are. I'm coming where you are. That's what I want in my life right now. So one of the things that I love about Olympians and elite level athletes is finding out what you guys, you know, what types of mental training do you do? And I think for this one question, what do you do right before, in my sport, we get in the gate? So Kyra, right before you know, get on that wall, or, you know, what do you tell yourself literally like 10 seconds before you're about to compete? What goes through your head?
That's kind of it's a hard question because I think it's always different. But we're actually in isolation in our sport, so you're not allowed to see anything that you're about to do because it gives somebody an unfair advantage if they watch somebody do it before, and then that person who did it had to do it blind. And so you're in isolation without your phone, without any access to internet. So if you want to listen to music, you have to have like an old iPod Shuffle or like an MP3 player, something that doesn't have access to anything. And so I'm
the only viewer that knows what that is. Okay, wait, maybe you know what that is too. Not a lot of young people know what that is. We do. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. And so what I found helped me stay really calm, especially, you know, at the biggest competition in my life, which was that Olympic qualifier in Toulouse, was I actually found that opera music really helped me like get in the zone and not get too hyped because I am a pretty excited person. And so to be listening to like, you know, pump up music was too much for me. My heart rate would just go way too fast. And so opera was like the right mix of epic and calming, where it got me into the right like nerve engagement zone basically. And so that's what I was doing basically right before I went out. I'd have those in until the time.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. So many different athletes have, you know, just this variety of things that get them into that zone, you know, and I really, that's so cool. What about you, Nina?
Oh man. So I'm probably the opposite of opera. What is kind of cool is that a lot of times we get to request some music, and our runs during our contest is in front of a huge crowd, and it's always very distracting. You're around all these people. So how do you tune out and stay focused? For me, it's pretty tough, but music really helps get me right into the state of flow. I'm usually rehearsing as though I'm about to give a speech, like, all right, I'm going to start here, and I'm doing this little thing with my finger, and I'm figuring out where I'm going to go, at least the start. If I can just get the start down, the rest of it, like the start's usually the hardest part. And then by the end, like it's like building or stacking a bunch of plates. And if you can keep it going, then you're going to make it to the end. Like, but you just got to get the start right. And so that's really where I'm at and where I'm the most focused. People are trying to talk to me and I'm like, oh, la, 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 talk to you later. You know, so it's tough because, there is just so much going on around you. And then you've got someone who's like, all right, ready, go. And you're like, are they talking to me? Like there's just like, you get so tuned out that you don't know if that person's actually talking to you. So yeah, I'm always trying to focus on what I'm about to do, and hopefully they're playing my song.
That is great. I know I always wanted them to play like my favorite song, and I don't think it ever happened. And of course you think you're going to listen to it, and then right before you go, like it all goes out the window. But I was always hoping that they're going to play my favorite song. Okay. Nina, what is your song? We just got asked a question about that. What is your song, girl?
Well, I've given the DJ a couple to choose from. Usually, if it's a really big course and I need to go fast, I'll have them try to play like Slayer or Motorhead, like any of the songs, because it usually gets me really hyped, and that means I need to go faster than I think. And I usually have almost too much speed, but it gets me where I need to be. If anything, I'll do like the biggest whatever I'm gonna do if they're playing my song. There's been a couple times where they'll play something completely off, and I'm like, huh, how am I gonna, like, there's no way I can get them to start over. So then I got to sing in my head, and it's just like a whole other mess that I hope never happens again. But
Okay,
judges, rock and roll.
Everybody out there, you are listening, you better play Nina's song, okay? We want this girl to win. We want her to go big. You need to play it. Okay, so our time is almost up. So the one thing that I've just enjoyed this time immensely with you girls, but I just want you to leave our audience with just one really inspirational quote or a piece of advice that was given to you that you want to pay it forward to maybe some young athletes that are out there that want to get into your sport, or maybe having a tough day. So one thing you want to leave with them. Nina, you want to go first on this one?
Okay, yeah. So
or Kyra, whichever one.
All right. Well, I just if it means anything, I got a later start on paper. I was 19, but just remember it's never too late to start. That's something I want everyone to know, because you never know till you try.
I love that. Yes, Nina. All right. What about you, Kyra?
Yeah, I guess when I was at like a training camp when I was quite little, like 14 or something, we did this thing where you looked through a bunch of quotes from like athletes and wrote down the ones that like really spoke to you. And the one that really like spoke to me was, without confidence, you'll always find a way not to win. And that one just stuck with me. I don't know why exactly, but I think confidence in general is stigmatized, especially in girls. And so, people think you're arrogant or things like that. And I think it's really important in sports, especially, and to not forget that. And so that's a big one.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome. I think that women in general need to remember how awesome and badass we are all the time, right? We just gotta we gotta put it out there. And I really, I just want to thank you ladies so much for being with us today. I had so much fun, and I cannot wait to get my little girl on a BMX bike and climbing. And we're gonna be sitting there on the edge of our seat just cheering you on, because you are both so incredible. So Nina, you got this. We are here for you, girl. You're going to qualify, and you're going to join Kyra, and you're going to be there in Tokyo 2020. So thank you for joining me and having this conversation. And then to all of you guys at home, in behalf of all the athletes from Rally with Champions, Kyra, Nina, and myself, thank you so much for joining us on our 8th of 10 live virtual workshops. If you loved it, please join us again and tell all your friends. Our next one is going to be May 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and our topic is going to be Rising Up, my Paralympic journey. So for the first time, we're going to have 2 Paralympians, and I wish that we've had more, because they're awesome. So we're going to have 2 of my favorites. It is going to be Brad Snyder, who's a para swimmer, and then also Kelsey Lefevre, who is a para track and field athlete. So this is going to be amazing. If you've had a ton of fun, tell your friends, and you want to be torch warmers, go to the main page, donate, because it goes back to these ladies. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I hope your Olympic flame is burning a little bit brighter, and we'll see you next time on Rally with Champions. Thank you. Bye.